guys, it's Mike again, your host of Craft Beer Storm, and also founder brewer at the Barra Brewing Company in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And this is our segment called Beer Styles, and we are going to bring you another beer style. So we just go down the list on the Great American Beer Festival, a list of beers, category of beers that they allow in their competition, which is pretty expanded, very detailed. And, there's about 102 categories, and there's also subcategories in each one. So there's just loads of beers out there, different styles. So that's what we do this every Wednesday. We want to bring you a different style and just expose you to what's out there. And also give you, some examples of it that are out there, and you can try it. So this week it is going to be Brett beer. So Brett is short for Brettanomyces, and this beer is all about the yeast that gives it the flavor, gives it that funkiness. So Brettanomyces is a kind of yeast. It literally means British fungus, and was discovered when a scientist was looking into spoilage of some English ales. It's a wild yeast that can have a desirable or less desirable impact on the fermentation and therefore flavor of beer. And the flavors you might get from a Brett-fermented beer are particularly distinctive, with an emphasis on funkiness, spice, fruit, and a bit of tartness. And the Brett specifically produces acetic acid. Now you just got to be careful when you use Brettanomyces. A lot of brewers just throw it in. They really don't control it. They don't know what they're doing, and they want to produce like a sour beer or a funky beer, and the thing tastes like vinegar, which is not good. So, but there are a lot of brewers out there who know what they're doing, and look out for it. The Belgians are excellent at this, and there's a lot of American breweries that are really good at this too. But if you're going to get into Brett beer, you really got to know what you're doing and do it correctly. Otherwise, you just spoil the beer. The beer tastes better on a salad as vinegar, not as something you would drink. Because acetic acid is bad in mass quantities when bacteria gets in, and it could multiply very quickly and create acetobacter. Then the whole thing tastes like vinegar, which is bad. It happened to me a couple times, but we have revised our processes, and that's not happening again. And it hasn't happened, thank God, for a couple of years. So, knock on wood, but we're okay. Hey, and then the GABF states acidity resulting from the Brettanomyces fermentation results in a complex flavor profile. Brettanomyces character at low to high levels should be present and expressed as a horsey, goaty, leathery, phenolic, fruity, and or acidic aromas and flavors. And usually these flavors are signs of bad beer. But like I said, if you do this correctly and use this Brett correctly, you can create a really good experience, for beer drinkers. Now, fruited versions will exhibit fruit flavors in balance with other elements, so you can add fruit to this as well, and that gives it a different character. The color of a Brett beer can be any color is acceptable. The beer color may be influenced by color of added fruits or other ingredients. The chill haze, the clarity, chill haze and haze from yeast is allowable at low to medium levels at any temperature. So they expect a little haze. Perceived malt aroma and flavor. In darker versions, roasted malt, caramel, chocolate aromas and flavors are present at low levels. And the hop aroma and flavor and bitterness could be low to high. Body could be low to high, and the ABV varies with style. So you can take a bunch of different styles of beer and introduce this Brett and create a different experience that would normally you would experience from normal brewer's yeast. And the glassware that you would serve it in would be a tulip glass. Get that aroma, get that taste. And these examples, courtesy of Beer Advocate, would be Wild Devil by Victory Brewing Company in Pennsylvania. And according to the Victory Brewing Company, it's arguable that our menacingly delicious Hop Devil has always been wild, both bold with both German malts and whole flower American hops. This India Pale Ale is nothing but prim, but add a touch of Brettanomyces and really beast responsible for the sharp tang and deep funk found in many Belgian ales, and our Wild Devil emerges completely untamed. So they take their normal IPA, Hop Devil, and they introduce Brettanomyces in it. Floral aromatic hops still leap from this amber ale as the host of new fermentation flavor kicks up notes of citrus and pine. So you take a normal beer, well, it's not really normal beer, it's a good beer, hoppy beer, and you throw Brett in, and it just totally changes it, gives it just a whole bunch, different dimension. So that's Wild Devil. And our other example would be Midnight Brett by Allagash Brewing Company. And I say about breweries that know what they're doing, or Brett and Allagash knows what they're doing. Everything I have from them is excellent. And we got to get the brewer on. I'm in touch with them. We're going to get them on the podcast. But they make really great beer. They know what they're doing. Now, Midnight Brett is chocolate brown in color, brewed with 2-row midnight wheat, raw wheat, and rye malt. It was hopped with a blend of Pearl, Glacier, and Simcoe hops, which are delicious hops. The beer was fermented with our house strain of Brettanomyces in stainless tanks. So a lot of breweries have their own special house strain, which they obtain from wherever. Some of them you obtain them overseas and bring them back. They have laboratories, and they create their own house strain. A lot of breweries are famous, and they produce really famous good beer because of their yeast. It's all about the yeast. The finished beer has an aroma and flavor of fresh berries, sour cherries, and a slight roasted character. The finish is pleasantly tart and fruity, making this beer very drinkable. So it's a really great beer from Allagash Brewing Company. That's Midnight Brett. So it's all about the yeast. There are flavors imparted from the grains mostly, and hops. But yeast is a key component in beer, and depending on the type of yeast you use, you can just totally change how the beer comes out. But try Brett beer. Yeah, when you go out, get a sample of it, try it out. You might like it. Then you get a pint or a glass. Usually they give you a glass of it, like a 12-ounce pour, because it's so good. And that's our podcast on Brett beer for today. But if you like what we're doing, you like what we put out there on Mondays. As I said, I interview a brewer or a founder of a brewery, or like a mover and shaker in the craft beer world, someone who's a big influencer or really is passionate about it. And we put that out there on Mondays. And then on Wednesdays, I go over beer styles, which is this Brett beer for this week. And on Fridays, I just go over the craft beer news and the craft brew news. And we just talk about, my experiences, and we have other people on, and we talk about their experiences with news and their perspective on the industry. So it's pretty cool. So we bring it to you 3 times a week, man. We got it out there, but we need your help. That's all I ask of you, is just to go on to iTunes and subscribe. Or at the very least, just leave us a rating and a review. That'd be fantastic. And tell a friend, tell 10 friends with 10x. And that would help us out tremendously, and I would appreciate it. That just blasts us out even more on iTunes and gets us up the rankings. So, that's our podcast for this week for beer styles. And I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you taking the time out. And I know you guys are very busy. And I hope you enjoy what we're doing. Give us some feedback. Send me an email, Michael at craftbeerstorm.com. It'd be great to hear from you. Or go on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Leave us a comment. Check us out. I'm posting a whole bunch of stuff out there on YouTube. Videos. We just made a beer last week. The Bratscaler Blizzard Ale. Went through the whole process, taking videos, mashing in, boiling. We got fermentation going on. So it's a lot of stuff going on that into making beer, and we give you a behind the scenes look at that. Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you listening again, and we'll talk to you soon.